I'm going to show you my granddaughter.
Okay, we're recording.
Hey,
Whose granddaughter are we seeing?
come here. This is, how can I get her?
There she is.
There's Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Can you say hi?
Hi.
Those are people I went to high school with.
You're as pretty as your grandma.
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
She's sleeping over. We're having a slumber party.
All right.
Good deal.
Cool. Maddie and I and Charlotte, her little sister.
Okay.
Good. Hey,
Okay.
Diane, you see that recording up in the left-hand corner?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, it is.
Diane's
Thank you
job
for
is
saying
to make sure.
hi.
Hey there, guys. How you doing?
Hi, Bob.
Hey.
Buddy,
Hey, Bob.
Hi there.
you better be
Okay,
rooting
but
for
actually-
Northwestern, Bob.
What's that?
You better be rooting for Northwestern, not Ohio State.
Who's Northwestern?
Oh.
Northwestern
Carolina is playing.
guy is a great guy. The coach at Northwestern,
Uh-huh.
good buddy of Paul Flatley's named Pat Fitzgerald. Really a nice young man. Done a great job with recruiting up there.
Yeah,
Okay.
he has.
Yeah, they're really tough, Tom. Yeah.
Maddie, you want to let Paula out? Just open the door for her.
No, they're good.
And if I need to help you, I will help you.
There's Nancy.
How old is she,
Beth.
Felice?
Hey, Nancy.
How old
Hi
is
there.
Maddie?
6. She's in
Okay.
kindergarten. She's 6.
Oh.
Yep.
So you getting everybody in for Christmas?
Oh, wow.
No, well, Brock and this family lives right around the corner from me.
Okay.
Right.
And so mom and dad are going to do a little Christmas shopping and have a date tonight.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
We're having a
Date.
slumber party with the girls.
Well, that
Yeah.
is pretty exciting. Yeah. Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
I
Right,
need to like slumber parties with girls.
Yeah.
Tommy remembers one.
I-
I wish I'd have done more than that.
Well, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying a word.
That's
Oh,
good.
but my wife's not here, so I wish I'd have done more than that. More than that.
Bob, what is your wife's name?
My wife's name is Laura.
Laura. Okay.
Yeah, Laura.
Okay.
You wouldn't have known her, Felice. She went to Hillcrest Baptist.
Okay.
They had a school all the way through high school out there.
Oh my God.
So she was raised in a very stringent Baptist family, a lot of ministers around, and married a guy that had no idea what Baptist religion was all about. And
Oh.
Well, hey.
just a quick story. I have a buddy named John Walker, big Ohio State Tom, that's up at the Lutheran church up here. So we're getting ready to get married. She said, "Who's going to marry us?" And I said, "Well, it's not going to be anybody in your family. It's going to be our friend John Walker." So John married us, and he called me aside at the reception. He said, "I've got the over and under on this marriage at 10 years." We've been married 23 now, so John lost his bet.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Wow.
That's good.
Hey, not many of us knew about Baptist back in those days. I sure
What?
didn't when I lived in Indiana.
You what now?
I didn't know about Baptists when I lived
I
in
did not.
Indiana.
I was raised in the Catholic school until ninth grade. Yeah,
Me too. Yeah.
yeah. I was at St. Andrews, at least all the
You
way
guys
through.
thought that was the only religion, didn't you?
Yeah.
Hey, I was taught that.
That's what they
And
told
if you were
us.
Catholic, you were going to hell.
That too.
My grandmother, honest to God, guys, believed that if you were not a baptized Catholic, you were going to hell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Remember those.
Old
people.
German gal, she was tough as
Yeah.
nails.
Do you guys remember Delane Erdosi?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure do. Yeah.
I was good friends with her, and so I used to go to some of the, is it CYO events and
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
things with her.
Should I go?
Brother Frank, when her brother Frank,
Jane Carter.
Hi, Katie.
I think it's
Katie's
on
got
now.
on one of those sexy outfits
Yeah.
again, so it
Yeah,
looks like
yeah.
it's naked.
Yeah,
No,
pull
you
it up.
don't want to hear about how hot it is. It's just a beautiful day here, and I was.
Sitting outside.
Oh, that's
Those
good.
kids are
For letting
great.
Cuddle out. Do you need anything right now?
Pardon me?
Katie, are you in Florida or Georgia?
Florida.
Florida, back in Naples,
Uh-huh.
where I
You came
came
to visit.
where I came to visit you. Yeah.
Right, right.
Bob,
Yes.
her name was Smith in school, and then she married Frank Erdosi.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
It was Elaine Smith, and she married Frank
Oh,
Erdosi.
sure. I
You've
remember
been
her. She
waiting
was in my
patiently.
class.
Good job.
Exactly, yeah.
Hey, Bob, did you get your vaccination yet?
I have not. They actually shuffled that around a little bit.
Hmm.
I'm going to be in the Madrona bunch
Uh-huh.
Okay,
that will be issued Tuesday,
good.
but they've rescheduled us to start either the week after Christmas or the first week in January. So I'm a little later than I thought. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to lie to you guys, but I honestly God thought I'd be this week sometime.
Do they come to Arbor Trace, Bob?
Yeah, CVS, Tom has that contract with, CVS and Walgreens has a contract with all the nursing homes in the state of Indiana, maybe the nation.
I think so.
Yeah.
And our
Yeah.
bunch is coming from CVS, and they just hired a bunch of people.
I know my friend's at Forest Park, and she gets hers on the 28th.
Yeah, well, that's right in that group that I think I'm gonna be in.
Good.
That's good.
Hey, Tom Porter, before we get started, let me update everybody on Dick Houston's funeral.
Yeah.
They had a little bit of a COVID scare in Dick's family. His son, either Jeff or Tim, was diagnosed positively, and his brother Phil in Columbus, Indiana, has shown some signs. So they backed up the funeral from the 23rd. It'll be at the same place on the 28th of December
Okay.
at 1 p.m. And the funeral home is going to have a live stream of the funeral. So you can hear all the eulogies by the family and by Phil and by Jim Witherby. Ironically, who wound up being one of Dick's best friends at the end of his life.
Huh.
And Jim and I talked a lot last week. Jim's daughter was like my daughter, my stepdaughter, and had some gastroenterological problems. Well, my wife and Jim's wife are pretty good friends, and our kids played together, went to high school together, my stepdaughter and his daughter. So she said to my wife, God, I don't know what to do because she's so sick, like your daughter was. And Laura said, you guys know Dick Houston, right? And she said, yep. She said, you get a hold of Dick Houston, have him guide you from there. So that was another case where Dick stepped up and really helped somebody that we know. And then they've been friends for like 10 years now.
I didn't realize that from our conversations that he actually lived here in Richmond. I didn't know he lived here.
Who's that, Jim?
No,
I didn't realize Dick Houston lived here in Richmond until I read his obituary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't live in Richmond,
Recently?
Indianapolis.
Where?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Okay, I
Yeah.
thought the way the thing read that it read Richmond.
No,
Okay.
no. He,
Um,
And it,
and guys,
It
we
sounded
figured
like
out,
Dick,
between all of us, the year that his father committed suicide would have been our 9th or 10th grade year.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what Jim and I came up with because Dick was working at Forest Hills and Rick Putoff was riding back and forth to school with him to football practice and stuff. And it was sometime in the fall of our sophomore year, we believe.
well, since we're,
61, yeah.
since we're talking about Dick, I had an email from Jeannie Lindsay. And
Yeah.
she said, this is about Dick's older brother, Phil.
Right.
She said, I called Phil Houston today. We must have talked for an hour or more. It was a wonderful phone call for both of us. He said he had not really talked about Dick's death until I called. I know it meant a lot to him that I called. I thought that some of our classmates might want to send him a card. He is 82 years old. He said he and Dick were very close and talked on the phone quite often. And if anybody is interested, he said, Phil and I reminisced about Richmond in the good old days. It was fun. Phil's address, and I can send this out to
Yeah,
you
send it
guys.
out.
Okay, thank you. Please do.
I'll send that out.
Okay.
Great, Tom. Yeah.
Well, I missed being on for a couple of weeks. So what, did he get sick with something or what happened to him?
To who
Dick.
down, Gene?
He got COVID. I'm
What
not
happened?
sure if we know exactly how that happened. I don't know if he got it from Donna, his wife, because she had been in the hospital.
And Tom, update on Donna. She is home now at her daughter's house, Terry's house in Indianapolis.
Good.
Oh, good.
Yeah, she got out Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
How's her health?
Must be pretty good because she's out of the hospital. I didn't think she'd be out that quickly
Wow.
because she had the back thing and, all kinds of complications. But Jim said that he thought she'd be released Friday afternoon, if not Monday at noon.
Okay.
Now, doesn't she have some kind of mental, or not mental, well, not.
Yeah.
Dementia.
Memory is what I'm saying, meant to say.
Maybe the beginnings of that. I'm not sure.
Dick had told me that she had something called rapid onset dementia. It came on fairly
Dementia.
rapidly. He hadn't noticed anything, and then all of a sudden it started happening.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how, if it, I don't know. He said that they were giving her different kinds of medicine to see if they could slow it down or whatever. But so that's that. Let's see.
Those are cute.
Anything else on Dick? I mean, you guys got the obituary. If you got that, you can go out there to that Moster mortuary in Rushville
Yeah.
and get all the stuff. And if you want to attend that live stream, you'll
And
be.
there also is a guest book there, Tommy, for that.
You good, okay? Okay.
There's a nice guest book set up. Tom, one great story from his son Jeff, who's in the Air Force down in Austin, Texas, maybe a colonel or a full board colonel, maybe a lieutenant colonel, I'm not sure. But getting up there pretty high in the rank in the Air Force in the unmanned satellite business. They are capable down there at the base he's at of doing nuclear drones.
Base and all.
And so pretty high-tech stuff. But Jeff was telling a story the other day, and I think he told it to a couple people. They were going on spring vacation, Jeff and his kids and Dick and Donna, and I don't know where, but they're on an airline flight and a lady has a crisis. Pilot comes on the speaker and says, "Is there a doctor in the house?" Dick says, "Yes, me." Jumps right in, gets the lady's life turned around. They force land and get her in the hospital, make arrangements to switch flights and all that kind of stuff. But he and I talked about his dad being an angel in action for several people that we know, including that lady. So
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yeah. Now, Vicki, would you know much about Jay?
Well, it didn't make the paper today, but last night about 10 o'clock on Facebook, Donan Mills sent out the obituary and it was very well written. He'd done a lot more stuff than I ever knew. I thought I knew Jay pretty well, but
I was surprised at that too. Wow. Yeah.
yeah, but that didn't make the paper today, but it was on Facebook last night. So if you go to Donan Mills Funeral Home website, it should have it in there, but it was quite extensive and very impressive.
Oh, good.
Yes, ma'am, it was. Yeah.
He wrote me a letter when my Tom passed away, and I didn't know that he and Tom were quite pranksters in their younger years. Used to take their soapbox derby cars over to Earlham after hours and race them down the hill at Earlham. And I did not know that until after Tom passed away.
No, that's a good one.
Now, the Earl.
We lived down.
Thank you. Have fun. I hope you get some good stuff.
It'd be nice to do a year later.
I agree.
There we go. Okay. Let me know when Felice is back. I'll unmute her again.
Hey, TP,
Yeah.
TP, it's Tom. Can I go back to Bob for a moment, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
I was wondering, given Donna's recent mental history, do you know anything about if Terry will be probably guiding her and helping her? Or is there
Yeah.
someone closer?
Tom, they had moved into Terry's home. Where she and her family, and I don't remember how old her children are, but they live very near the hospital with St. Vincent's where they are coming and going from. And I think are economically in good shape to take care of her. I think they planned for that as they saw their deterioration health-wise.
Yeah.
So I think they're in really good shape there, Tom.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tom, another death this week in Richmond. Kaylee Moore's brother Woody
Really?
passed away this
Yeah.
week. Good guy, good basketball player, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've known his mom for a long time, Odessa.
Was he an ordained minister, Gene?
As far as I know, he was, yes.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
She's had two sons pass away. One was Kelly.
Kaylee, yeah.
Kaylee. And this was Woody Moore.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
been
Kaylee was
it's
a
been
year
a
older than
crazy
us,
week.
Tom. I think Kaylee would have been a year older than us, Gene, if I remember right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think his mom, I think she's up in her 90s probably.
Yeah, she's got to be. Yeah, I knew.
It's been a rough week all around. We've had like 3 people from just our church family pass away from COVID.
Yeah, it's getting really tough in Indiana. So, well,
Nothing your way too, Harvey, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah, we're in a lockdown, and you're not supposed to do anything basically. I mean, we go out in the neighborhood.
134,000 cases statewide last week, Harvey, or something.
Yeah, it's going crazy in different areas. And my brother lives in Hermosa Beach, LA, and in that town, it's like triple what it was before. So they in the Bay Area counties, they issued a kind of one of these emergency alert. I thought it was like somebody got a that every once in a while you get that phone vibrate, but it was just saying stay inside. So yeah, it's pretty extensive.
yes.
Yeah.
A lot of our staff guys has been through the first round of the vaccine.
Good.
No complications of any kind with anybody that's out here at all.
Good.
It's probably a total of 75 people in the last day.
Yeah, Bob, I wanted to ask you, you were talking about that nurse's aide that had 2 young children that came down with COVID that worked there. How is she doing?
No further word. As far as I know, no better, no worse, quite honestly. Yeah. The young
Okay.
Katie,
29 years old.
Uh-huh.
on a lighter note, are you wearing anything? Those Southerners get wild.
Sure, let's get that calendar going.
Yeah, right.
Bad behaving seniors here.
Yeah.
So how much snow did you get, Judy? We only got 4 or 5 inches, but
Oh my God.
about 30
4 or
miles
5 inches.
south, they got 3 feet.
Yeah.
More than 3 feet.
I said no.
So we just got missed. Darn.
I'm in
Yeah.
Oh,
We got about a foot in Connecticut.
Did you?
ugh.
Yeah, and New York, I don't know what ended up happening to them. Boston got about a foot or more, maybe 2. I don't know.
Last winter in Connecticut, it snowed for about 15 minutes. That was it. So
Wow.
it was nice.
Yeah, I think New York's already had more snow than they had all last year, I believe.
Mhm. Yeah.
No.
Well, it's winter.
No.
Well, back to Jay. Who all grew up with Jay and went to school with Jay? Where did?
Jamie.
He was my next door neighbor.
Okay,
Oh
Jamie.
my gosh.
You start telling stories about Jay.
Well, I don't know. My mom said I used to go over there all the time because they really celebrated Easter and stuff and a lot of candy. And I used to go over there and eat all their candy. And we used to play kick the can in the alley. We had an alley that went down between all these houses. And we had, I think Tom Redpath was in there. We had a bunch of boys in that neighborhood at the time. I can't remember who all was there, but so we used to do that. And we played football we had a side yard that the end zone was my mother's flower bed. So we used to get we'd run down there and fall in her flower bed. But no, Jay was a good friend of mine, all the way really through junior high. And then, we had kind of separate friends in high school and stuff. But we were talking about Jay being a success. I was always admired. He's sort of a self-made guy. He found a way to make a living and make a good living. And he's got a lot of friends all over the country, I think, from his Model T
He does have
experience. So it's too bad. Good guy.
When I read that obituary, it was unbelievable what he's done with that.
Yeah.
Well, since the rest of us haven't read that obituary since it just came out, enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, please.
I couldn't get it to print. I just don't think they were ready to, until it goes in the paper. You usually can't find out too much. I couldn't get it to print. But.
Yeah.
So I think his wife Barbara also helped him build that business, right? The two of them were really partners in there, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the Model T thing was more or less what he did in retirement years. I mean, it was writing for a magazine. Then he brought when the Model Ts had it must have been their 100th anniversary. We had a 5-day event, and he talked all of his friends into working all 5 days at it. It was out at the fairgrounds, and it was huge. People came from all over the world, not just the country. It was amazing. And they spearheaded the whole thing.
Wow.
Were Jay and his father both employed by Ford?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, Jane.
What did you say, Bob?
When Jay left here, if I remember right, he was at Ford in Connersville, and then moved to Dallas, I believe, or Fort Worth with Ford also.
Yes.
Dallas. And that's kind of where this Model T thing took off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
his dad had a coal company. Remember, his dad had Clayforth Coal.
Manufacturing.
We all had coal furnaces back in those days, and his dad had a coal delivery service, and that's probably how he got into that soapbox derby. I don't remember. Probably had a Clayforth Coal soapbox derby, I would guess. I don't know.
I'll be darned. Okay, that strikes a bell with me. I remember the coal trucks pulling up in front of our house.
Sure.
Be darned. I didn't realize that. Would that have been the only one in Richmond, Jim?
The only one I know of.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
Yeah, I would think there would only be one. I'll be darned.
What's that? Coal company?
Yeah.
No, Shera Coal and Oil was down on South Fifth Street.
Okay.
My mom was their bookkeeper for years down there.
Oh, really? Right there by the overpass where the overpass used to go.
Right there,
across.
yeah, that's exactly
Right
right.
before G Street Bridge.
They were coal and oil both. They had all the oil for furnaces. Yeah, they.
So, I mean, I can't remember who sent me a message about what actually had happened. Did everybody understand exactly what happened?
I think they were on, as I understand it, they were on the way to take one of their cats to the vet. And luckily Barb was driving and he had a heart attack. And I think before she could stop the car and get out of it, he was gone.
Yeah. I talked to Carol Gaydosh, and Carol went over there last night and took them some food. Oh. And she thought yesterday or the day before that Barbara went straight to the hospital. No, she went home and called the paramedics, and the paramedics came over and worked on him for an hour and couldn't revive him. I'm sure at that point, because it was after the fact. Also, Tom, didn't Carol send you Barbara's address?
Let me see here. I would have written that down. Yes. Okay. Are you guys ready for this?
Well, can you just send it out to us?
If I can find that one, I couldn't remember where in the heck I got
Okay,
it.
I have it. I'll have it.
I
I'll
have
send
it
it to
too.
you.
Send it to me and then I'll send it to everybody.
Okay, I'll do that.
Be sure.
But
Right.
that's what Carol Gadosh told me this morning.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got their address and I've got Phil's address, and that way I can send that out.
Okay.
And while we're on addresses, if I could ask somebody, my plan this week was to add one person, Alan Parker. And then but the email address that I had didn't work. And when I looked at that email address, I thought that can't be right, because the one word didn't even make sense.
Who was that?
Now, who sent
Alan Parker.
who sent to me, was it Becky, are you the one who sent me that on Alan Parker, or was that?
No.
Okay.
I see Alan Parker on Facebook, Tom.
Yeah, Alan Parker's on Facebook.
Well, I'm not on Facebook. That's the problem. If somebody could get me his correct email, the second one that I tried, I just guessed and it went. Now, whether or not it got to him, I don't know.
Who knows?
But if somebody could send me again, Alan Parker's email address, Bob, maybe you did. Maybe it's you that sent it to me. Because you're.
I had it at one time, Tom. I have to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Enough of that. One other thing. Let's see. Oh gosh, Joe Pyfron sent me a really cool pic. Who all went to Holy Family? Anybody go to?
I didn't, but I know Joe. I knew Joe.
Okay, because I
Because he
looked at
lived
that
in our
Holy Family picture and I thought, man, I see a bunch of people that I recognize, but I didn't remember them, being Catholic or anything. But anyway, so he sent a really cool picture, and there are people in there that, we all would recognize as high school classmates. But the problem is, it comes into my iPad, and this iPad is old, and I cannot copy pictures, even if it's an attachment. It won't copy. So I'm giving those all to Jane Ann. She's going to put them in a collage, and she'll hopefully get them to everybody. But I didn't want anybody to feel like I'm not paying any attention or I lost.
He is. It's just he doesn't yell loud enough at his iPad, so it doesn't work. That's the secret, huh?
Yeah. So that's that. Okay, that takes care of all my.
All your questions.
All my. Yeah. So. Yeah, well, tell me again, what exactly was Jay's business? Then he was primarily a Ford person?
Jay Clayton, I believe.
Yeah.
Wasn't he the editor of a magazine that dealt with Model Ts?
Yeah.
Yes, but that was later on in life. He graduated with like a marketing and financial degree. And so for these companies, several companies he worked for, that's what he did.
Several big companies, Tom. One of them was a major food company, a bunch of chain stores that were all down around Dallas. I think Jay might have been a controller for them at one time, publicly held company. God, I don't remember the name of it though. Now, Barbara was not from Richmond, Vicki, is that correct?
No, she was not.
Yeah.
It's sad how little we know about people until they die and we read their obituary.
I know.
And I wish I could have gotten it printed out. If it's in the paper tomorrow, I'll do that. But it was just extensive. It was amazing.
We have it open right now. There's a couple of paragraphs that might be relevant. Yeah, I got an MBA from Miami University of Ohio, Oxford. After serving as an officer in the Air Force, after a stint in the Air Force, he returned to Philco-Ford in Connersville. Yeah, serving in various financial management positions. And in addition, he owned and operated Yankee Farm Antiques in Cambridge City. Following that, in '76, he accepted a position on corporate staff at Ford's world headquarters in Dearborn, Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
Initially served as a liaison with Ford of Europe. Later, Jay was assigned to work with Ford's diversified products operations. That's Ford's non-automotive businesses. And in '79, he became an internal business consultant acting as a consultant to the executive vice president level and above of the
Wow.
company.
Wow.
He's busy.
One more.
Something else interesting he did. He has been to Jay Leno's house about 3 times.
Oh my
And
God.
Jay's actually cooked dinner for him because Jay wanted some advice on, he wanted to, he's got lots and lots of cars. And
Mhm.
he took Jay's advice on, which Model T to buy and so forth. But Jay said he made 3 trips out there and served him dinner every time.
Wow.
Darn.
Nice.
That's neat.
He's a big.
Tom, when did he go to Texas, Tom?
Let's see. Yeah,
While in Dallas.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, in 1981, 81, he accepted the position of Assistant VP Finance and Planning with W.R. Grace's Natural Resources Group. That's in Dallas.
That's a big food company.
That's a
W.R.
big-
Grace.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did
Also
lots
deeply
of things.
involved in taking the group public eventually. The new company called Grace Energy was traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Also, I want to point out that he served as the Board of Trustees president during 04 and 05 of the Centerville Center Township Public Library, and was president of Promote Centerville, member and past director of the Centerville Lions Club. And he and his wife were life members of Historic Centerville, Friends of the Libraries. He was
Environmental Center.
Cope Environmental Center, yeah.
Wow.
Had a relationship with Earlham as well. So, yeah, he cared about writing and words and libraries and books. So, I'm sorry I didn't know him very well. Impressive.
Busy man.
W.R.
I
Grace.
think he had a crush on Jane Harlan when he was about 9 years old. We were in MYF together, and I think he used to talk about her all the time during meetings. I remember that.
How'd you feel about that? He's talking about another girl.
Well, she was my best friend at the time, so it was okay.
Okay.
Hey, Tom, that's that girl slumber party stuff we missed, Porter.
Yeah.
Not at 9 years old, but yeah, that's funny. So good old MYF. I'd forgotten all about that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Methodist Youth Foundation.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Now let's see. Where is Judy?
Yeah.
And I thought Jay was a funny guy.
Yeah.
I thought he was a real character.
Right, sense of humor, yeah.
Great.
Yes, he did.
So I think it's okay if we add a little levity today, or, happiness. And so Judy, a couple weeks ago, and we've been putting it off, you had a story. Can you even remember what story you were going to tell?
Yeah, but there's a better one since, but I don't think I can tell it out loud.
Oh, God. Come on.
Jesus,
This was about I was just thinking about all the bad things that are happening. And my little granddaughter, we always send the animal of the year, the Smithsonian Zoo animal, to the kids. And they're getting kind of old to get a stuffy. So we suggested this year they might pass it on to somebody who was younger and might need something like that, want something. And that was fine with the older boys. But I said, little Hazel's only 6, that might be too much for her. And Molly said, well, let's give it a shot. So she got all into it. And they wrapped up the package, and she was all excited, and they were going to take it down to a women's shelter in Middlebury. And at the last minute, Molly noticed her tucking something into the box. So she thought she'd better check it. And she did. And it was a $5 bill she'd taken out of her own piggy bank.
Oh,
I know. And her mother said, oh, honey, that's so sweet. Do you really want to do that? And she said, yes, Mommy, I do. I want her to get some candy on Christmas. But then she burst into tears and said, but I want her to be my friend. And just cried. The little ones are pretty lonely, with COVID.
Yeah.
It's hard on them.
Yeah.
So that's the good
sweet.
story.
That's,
Should I tell the bad one? What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
what
so
it
the
is.
same angelic child
Yes.
the other day was, they were isolated for COVID, and we're all kind of trying to isolate so maybe we can see each other a little bit at Christmas outdoors. And her mother was having a bit of a meltdown about it all. And all of a sudden she heard Hazel say, "I fucking hate COVID."
Oh.
10 years
Classic.
old.
yeah, I wonder where she heard that word.
Yeah, where did we hear that? So there's the angel and devil all in one kid.
Yeah.
That's
So
good.
Judy,
For
Oh,
her
was it-
wedding.
Or her father or what
Jane. That's one
Yeah.
for her wedding.
that from?
Oh dear, maybe
Yeah,
we'll forget about it then.
so has she been at home, therefore?
Yeah,
around
they have a
much more than
pod.
a teacher?
Yeah, they don't go to school. They have
I
a,
didn't-
a pod of 3 families, but now the 3 families are all isolating for Christmas. So she's been at home, and she's the only child, so she really hates it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, Betsy, are you up for telling us all about Paul McCartney?
Well, only if folk, I don't want to interfere with,
You're not
any-
interfering.
Oh, Betsy, you're not interfering at all.
No. And
Well-
this is trust me, I knew Jay well enough to know Jay would like having these kind of conversations today.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, my sister and I, we were the right age. We were 12 and 14. So I was coming into high school when you guys were leaving, when this really hit. So my experiences, coming into that age. So just want to sort of set that stage that I was.
That's okay. You don't have to rub it in anymore.
No, I mean.
Just kidding.
So,
They were screamers.
yeah, we were the ones that were standing on the stairs and screaming and so on. So, so we did all the things like watched Ed Sullivan. We went to the Hard Day's Night movie when it came out, did all that kind of stuff. My father even we had him take a 8mm camera shot of the black and white Ed Sullivan show, which I still have. Not only is it black and white, there's no sound. So I go,
Oh,
and I can't play it anywhere.
Well, you can just
anyway.
scream again.
So my sister and I were trying to figure out, we lived in New Jersey. And so they were going to have this concert in Atlantic City, there where they have the Miss America pageant, the convention hall there. We're trying to figure out, how do we get tickets? 15,000 people there. They sold them on the boardwalk. We couldn't drive. We couldn't drive down to Atlantic City to stand in line. We think we rode into a radio station and somehow got these tickets. We really don't remember how we got these tickets, but my parents drove us down there. They opened the doors at 7:00 or so. It was an 8:30 show. And it's just mostly young girls, of course. And just the anticipation of this was extraordinary. You can imagine. So we get in there and we give these tickets to somebody who's going to take us to the seats, and they start taking us closer and closer and closer and closer to the stage. Now, we ended up about 20 rows from the stage. We thought we were going to die.
I'm gone to heaven.
So they had some of these acts that came on ahead of time that nobody wanted to see.
Do you remember who they were?
I don't remember, but I did look it up.
Okay.
And in fact, I looked it up. It said the Righteous Brothers started out with them, but they were paid so little attention. They stopped.
They quit the tour.
They quit the tour. So, I think it was the Bill Black Band and Jackie DeShannon. So there were some people that later on might, but we didn't have any interest in that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Betsy, those weren't the British acts, were they, Betsy?
I'm
Those
sorry
were all
about.
the acts from England, were they?
I don't, I guess Jackie Doshannon was from England, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't really,
I don't think so.
don't know.
I don't think.
So they were probably but the thing was, even before anything started, so we're sitting in this audience, this was one of the main things I remember. You'd hear in the corner, way in the corner near the side of the stage, you'd hear this kind of twitter started, and then this scream would just cascade over the entire, I mean, before anything happened. I mean, it was that electric that you just couldn't stand it. In fact, I found something that described it last night. It was somebody who was backstage said it was different, not an impatient murmur, but more like an expectation, a kind of funny excitement. So that sort of was this electric anticipation of it. So when they announced that they were on stage, of course, everybody was sort of sitting around and getting kind of excited. They announced, as you might have seen in the Shea Stadium thing, which is the one that people will see a video of, they'll say, and the Beatles. So they come on stage, and I'm telling you, my sister had her teeth pulled. She wasn't feeling so good, but it didn't matter. We were up standing on those chairs. We were screaming. And so they came out, and I just stood there and I thought, I cannot believe Paul McCartney is right there in front of me. I mean, I just could not believe it.
I can die gracefully now, right?
Yeah, that's right. The only thing after, the only thing after that I promised myself as a 14-year-old is I was going to meet him sometime. I've never have actually done that. But I did get in a press conference one time in Atlanta when I paid extra for a ticket when he was raising money for the Liverpool Performing Arts.
Where he went to school.
Where he went to school.
Yeah.
So they had a press conference, and I was with the group of people. And so I got to across a table like 2 feet from him one time. And so that was pretty
You should right up
Yeah.
and grab him. Come
Close.
And since then, when he came back on tour, and so in the middle between the 70s and 80s, we, as we're all busy doing something else, but he came back on tour, and when the music of your youth, I would say, or teenage years, when that music comes back on, it does something to you.
Okay.
So when I went back to see McCartney in '89, they started out with if you know the song "A Hard Day's Night," it has a real, it has an intro, boing. Because I mean, it was like the whole thing came back, and so after that, I couldn't stay with McCartney. Every time he came on tour, I went to see. But the truth is, in the '90s, when I had some difficult times in work, not with Tom, but with
That's impossible.
that if I had a McCartney ticket in hand for a concert, I mean, I could do anything in between, everything would be
You
fine
put up
as
with
long
it.
as I
So how many times did you see Paul McCartney?
So counting twice it's a Beatle. We did go to the Shea Stadium, the famous Shea Stadium, but that was a year later. I wasn't quite as,
You were more mature.
I was 15,
Oh,
but it was fun to be there too. But
So how many times you seen him?
47 times.
47.
But
Oh my gosh. Who's
Wow.
counting?
that big COVID is not going to let me get to 50. That's right.
Okay, well,
Betsy, how old were you at Shea?
You said she signed
Yeah.
47.
How old were you at Shea?
Let's see, 15 and a half, I think I was.
Yeah, Ron Hudson and I were at Shea Stadium.
You were?
Hud, man.
That's where we met.
Yeah. Well, we went up on the New Jersey Turnpike. We still couldn't drive. You couldn't drive till you were 17 in New Jersey. And people were driving by us, they'd all be showing the tickets, they had on the way to
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, stopped in the middle of the turnpike.
Yeah. So
Betsy went to Poland once to see Paul McCartney by herself. You believe that?
I flew to Poland for
my
the weekend.
gosh.
Our son there. So we had, so Andrew, he put up with it as well.
But that was before Andrew even knew Hannah, right?
Yeah, we were there in 2013, and I never thought I'd ever be back to Warsaw. And then he meets a
Wow.
Polish woman, gets married in Warsaw.
Yeah. Betsy, some of those times when you went to see Paul, then it had to be with Linda McCarthy.
Oh, yeah, he was there with, first we saw once with Wings in Atlanta, so
Yeah.
part of that. And then in the early 90s, she was part of the group then too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she died like at 97 or 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
47 times. That's incredible.
Yeah, it
That
is.
is incredible.
It's fun.
But there are people worse than Betsy.
Oh, yeah, we met.
We met some people who've been, they've seen him 150 times. What's 47? Don't bring that weak
Wow.
stuff.
So now Becky is how many years younger than us? 3 years?
4, because Tom is, I'm 71 now, so what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Betsy was
because
actually,
I don't know about the rest of you, but Beatles, as much as I enjoy their music later on, it wasn't that big a deal back, in 63 or 64, So that just shows you're a different generation. That's all.
Oh, no, I liked them.
yeah. Betsy was actually in my husband's class at Earlham. But
Yeah.
Jim Ron Hudson got me involved.
Yeah.
Dave Graffin, for sure.
See, Becky wouldn't even have gone to the tack room with the rest of us.
She doesn't know what that is.
Teenage Council, is that what it was called?
Yeah, that was it.
Mhm.
So do you have programs from all those 47
Oh,
concerts?
I forgot to, this is the one from 1964.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and one other thing I meant to mention about this.
It's
When,
worth money.
you know how they say you can't hear anything?
Huh?
Well, it's sort of true, but I was determined that I would prove that I could tell what 12 songs they sang in 1964. So I had an envelope there and I wrote the songs on them as they were played.
Oh,
That's great.
That's pretty neat.
Were you
Great.
standing up while you wrote them?
Yeah, I had better handwriting back then.
Betsy,
On the reverse
was
side,
that Shay?
reading glasses on, but what's the date of that envelope?
This was a letter from my mother because I was at the shore with some friends. August 11th, 1964.
All right.
Betsy,
So
was that the concert at Shay that you just held the program up for?
No, I have that, but it's not, I don't have it with me. I mean, it's in a box somewhere.
Yeah,
But
I'm
hey,
trying to remember who
interesting.
the actual
That's-
Shay, that was that group of English guys.
Okay, yeah, that's probably right.
If I remember right.
She has a spreadsheet that has any relevant information about it.
If you want set list,
What the set list or how much money it costs. Ooh, we could buy another house with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Probably.
But
Well, Tom's been with me 20 some times.
no, I think it's
so-
32, and Andrew's been to a couple, and other family members and friends. So whatever.
So Bob, you were there, you say?
You and HUD.
No, Ron Hudson, who most of these guys know and remember,
Yeah.
father owns some theaters here, Betsy. So I'm getting ready to go back to IU for summer camp. And he says, what are you doing Saturday night or Sunday night, whatever night it was? I said, not much. He said, well, there's this group called the Beatles coming over to Crosley Field.
Crosley Field. Oh,
I said, fine, I'd love to go, so we go. And on the way home, he said, hey, these guys are going to be in New York in a couple of weeks. Do you want to go with me? And I said, Ron, I don't know about that, but, I'm not sure I'm going to have the money to go to New York right before I go back to school. He said, well, Ron, round up what you can round up. My father can deduct our expenses for going as part of his business. So you just cover your incidental stuff and we'll go to New York to this concert.
Oh, my God.
So we leave and we drive all night to get to New York City.
We drove.
we pull in, Ron drove his GTO or Le Mans, whatever it was, Thomas convertible. We've got on blue jeans, t-shirts, and jackets. We pull up in front of the St. Regis Hotel.
Wow.
3:30 in the morning.
You're big time.
The security guy walks out to meet us, obviously,
Who are you?
because we're a little bit suspicious. Ron gets out of the car and very graciously says, "My name is Mr. Hudson. I'm from Richmond, Indiana, and I have a reservation." The guy said, "Well, Mr. Hudson, if you don't mind, I'm going to walk in with you." So I stay by the car,
Oh my God.
takes Ron into the desk, and sure enough, in the registration cards, Mr. Hudson right here. So now the whole deal changes. He comes out and grabs our little duffel bags, like a gym bag, carries one in his hand and walks us up to our room. So we get settled in, and honest to God, guys, there's a chandelier this big around in every room in the suite. In the restroom, there's the first telephone I've ever seen in a bathroom in my life. And a chandelier much smaller in the bathroom. On the back of the door, there's a rate card. Do you guys remember rate cards on the back?
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
$55 a night.
Oh, my gosh. Back then.
I have borrowed $10 from everybody I know, and I may have $120 for this trip. We're there 3 days early. So we woke up right. We hit Bachelor 3, which is a little bit famous because of Joe Namath. Hit the whole deal, and had a great trip. And came home, and my God, it was a memory for a lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Great story, Bob.
Yeah.
Robert, you just can't remember that. You can't make that stuff up.
Well, I just can't believe that you didn't see Betsy while you were there.
That's right.
She was the only person screaming, right?
Yeah.
I think she was in the third row of security behind the horses. Remember that, Betsy?
I was in the upper deck left field.
God, that's amazing. We were out there somewhere. Yeah. Remember the 5 rows of security that they had?
Yeah, I remember.
Police on foot.
Right.
City, state, New York cops, plainclothes detectives, and girls came out of the bleachers and still tried to get to the stage.
They were out in the middle of the, like on
Second base.
Yeah. And they have the kind of equipment that people wouldn't even have, worse than what people would have in their living rooms now. I mean, you really couldn't hear. It was awful. It was really awful.
Who cared?
But
yeah, Betsy, we were there. That's all I cared about.
All right, that's cool. And my sister remembers McCartney holding his guitar up at the very end, which is a famous site. I mean, I think they have a pose of him as they ended the 12 songs they sang or whatever.
Dusty Springfield, a group called The Circle that sang Red Rubber Ball.
Oh, yeah.
Norman's Hermits.
British group. Is that right?
God, I don't remember, but there were like 4 or 5 acts there, I think, before they did the 12 songs.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, that's
12 songs. The concerts he does now are almost 3 hours with no intermission. 12 songs, and they're like 2.5 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, they were on for 30 minutes. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. My one of my business partners loves music, and he goes to lots of concerts. And I think I told you that he Bonnaroo.
Yeah.
So he went to a Bonnaroo concert and saw Paul, and he was blown away that he was up there for all that time, never stopped.
Yeah.
And he said he was just fantastic.
And how old will he be this June 18th, Betsy?
How old was he?
No, this coming June 18th. He'll be how old? 79?
79.
79 or 80. Yeah, you got to be.
Yeah, he's 78 now, but
I think Ringo just turned 80 this week.
Wow.
Okay.
Guess we're all getting old, right?
Just that.
We're reminiscing, that's for sure, but it's something
Betsy,
to
you
look
were,
forward
Betsy,
to.
you were talking about the intro to Hard Day's Night.
Yeah.
One of the Motown drummers, I can't remember his name, a really famous guy, said it sounded like Ringo had a log to play the drums with. A tree log, you pounded
Yeah.
that drum during that particular song.
Why don't you sit down? I'll do something.
Well, Jane Ann was, while Jane Ann loved the Beatles, as I do, her favorite group has always been the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah.
And Jane Ann's been to several Rolling Stones concerts. I've had to give her tickets to Rolling Stones concerts. Like TK's probably had to do for Betsy. But definitely not anywhere close to
No,
that many. So I think we only did 3 or 4,
I think so,
something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, we've got good friends that would probably come close to
Yeah.
you, Betsy, in terms of how many.
But your Rolling Stones, yeah.
So Tom,
Yeah, we saw Rolling Stones 2 or 3 times, but once we saw them in Atlantic City, this was 20 years ago now. It was so loud. I mean, so loud. I mean, this Rolling Stones will, you have to make sure you protect your ears. It's a good concert, but it is loud.
But isn't Mick Jagger going around with somebody?
Yeah.
Mick Jagger's going around with a ballerina now, and they just bought a mansion in Lakewood Ranch, Florida, near Tom's sister.
Oh
So
my
she
God.
thinks maybe she'll see him in the Publix, but I don't think
Okay.
We'll
so
try to
Tom,
get
I've got a story, music,
Okay, Jim.
He's got lots of music stories.
involves you and Jane Ann.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Is this the famous Washington DC trip?
This is the famous Washington DC trip. 71, maybe somewhere in there.
When was that? It was
Probably.
right when you got out of the army.
Yeah, it was probably right after I got out of there.
Tommy and I had this big collection of 45s, which we used to play at all our parties. And so we decided one year, we both had tape decks, and we were going to record all those. So I happened to be in Washington, D.C. in the Army. And so Jane Ann and Tommy came out from Colorado, probably, or what?
Oh, that was from Richmond.
No, it was
We
from
were in Richmond trying to get jobs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway, so this was like on a weekend, if I remember.
Yeah.
And Jane Ann had one big goal, that she wanted to go to the National Aquarium.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So we started recording, I don't know how many hundreds of records we had,
Well, it came close to 1,000.
Yeah.
about 1,000. And so the days went by, the hours went by. Jane Ann was getting more anxious about the fact that, we're running out of time here. We
Yeah.
gotta.
We're gonna close.
So finally, on a Sunday?
Yeah.
I
I
think
think
so.
you guys had to leave like later that day, maybe even.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
We finally wandered down. We finally got done. And so we went to the area around the Smithsonian to look up, the National Aquarium. And I think it was closed. Was it not?
Oh, no.
No. I thought we got in there for about 10 minutes before
I
they
think that was the deal.
That was it.
We got there like 15 minutes before they closed.
Wow. But didn't we go to the medical one though? The medical?
I don't know where we were.
I don't know,
I
but
don't
I will tell you that I've never heard the end of it to this
Yeah.
day.
We got all those records recorded.
Yeah. Ugh. And
Yeah.
I don't think I ever even heard most of them after we got home on the tape.
Oh,
They're
I-
just- oh, you
but we've
did.
still got them all on,
Yeah, they're still on there.
reel-to-reel tape.
Yeah. And in the
Oh,
club.
wow.
Yeah, and I've now Jimmy Jimmy got rid of all his 45s, but I've still got probably 600.
Yeah, you should have seen those guys when they were taking stuff out of the house after the fire. They're going, what are these things?
We were so obsessed with collecting at that time that we, down towards I think the beginning of the 60s, it was hard to come by any 45s anymore, any doo-wop.
Yeah.
We collected. You know, I ran specialty records. They couldn't even get them anymore, or they were doing reissues. So I ran across, when I was listening to the radio once, Ernie's Record Shop.
Oh my gosh.
And I think it was it Gallatin?
Well, Randy's record shop was out of Gallatin, Tennessee. Ernie's out of Nashville.
Ernie's, yeah. Ernie's, yeah.
Ernie's record store.
So it got to the point where I'd call them up and I'd say, okay, go look in your collection, your inventory, and see if you have any records in any one of these labels. So I named up a number of doo-wop labels.
Yeah.
Then I say, call me back and let me know what you have. So, you know, they dutifully went, looked, called me back, and they go down a list. And I say, yeah, we'll take that one. We'll take that one. And, you know, that's how we built out the collection finally.
Oh.
Yeah. You could key in on it with labels.
Was labels.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in those days, Jimmy and I would know the song, the label, what was on the other side of the record, the group, maybe even the names of the guys in the group. It was.
How about lyrics? Did you care about the lyrics?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Lyrics back then were not too sophisticated. So
No.
Tom,
Well, I'm not so sure about that. They're better than some of the crap that they put out today. Just say one word or two words over and over and over and over and over.
Hey,
There were
Tom-
some like
Tom
that
Ford.
back then too, I think.
Yeah.
I can think of.
Hey, Tommy, Cousin Brucey was out in New York. What was that DJ's name in Nashville?
Got me. I don't remember the name of
Do you
it.
remember?
I never paid any attention to the DJ. All we cared about were the songs they were playing. Now, the person who got me started on listening to Randy's and Ernie's was Paul Flatley.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd go across the street, to maybe stay all night with Carl, and old Paul would be there, man. He'd have that on, and of course he already had a bunch of records and stuff. That's how I got.
The FM stations were all you could get on the radio at night.
Yeah.
WABC, WLS out of Chicago, one out of St. Louis.
KMOX maybe.
Yeah. God darn, what's that guy's name?
Wolfman Jack.
Cousin Lucy was a famous DJ out in New York. He was a real celebrity.
He was New York.
Cousin Ernie.
Yeah, what Cousin Ernie?
That's it, wasn't it, Jimmy?
New York City.
Cousin
I think
Brucey.
Ernie.
Well, now, Judy.
Yes.
We got you. You were asking a couple or 3 weeks ago about, well, what was that music? And we told you it was doo-wop. So then you went out and got some
No, I put it on my
on your
whatever.
Spotify.
Your iPad? Yeah.
Spotify. It has been heavenly. I listen to it just about every day, and it's the only reason my house is clean. No, I was gonna thank you guys for that. I didn't even know the word doo-wop. I think I was just out of it. Well, I was.
Oh, you're
But but yeah, no, I love it. It's great. And I'm, I fix supper and I've got doo-wop on. I chop mushrooms and stuff. It's fun. Thank you.
You ever watch the shows on PBS? Once in a while has fundraisers, and they'll have like a whole night of doo-wop music. It's really fun to see all the old people and singing.
No.
Yeah.
Tom, I mentioned this here before, and I don't know if any of you ever followed up, but there's a great documentary called Soundstage. 2 words, Soundstage, about all of that old music stuff and how it all took place and who owned what record company and all that stuff, and it is fabulous.
Really? Where'd you find it?
Yeah.
On a one of the movie apps, I think Jim has documentaries.
Okay, Soundstage.
But yeah, it's
I have to. Huh.
Oh,
and then the music of the Laurel Valley, you know, with all the early rock stuff's pretty good too.
Yeah.
For anybody who likes, Tom and I watched this the other night on HBO. They have a documentary on the Bee Gees. If anybody,
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen that.
oh good,
That's really
it
good.
is
I haven't
real.
watched it, I recorded it.
That
Yeah,
was
It's
awesome.
sad to think there's only one left.
Yeah,
Where was it?
HBO.
HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
it's not just the music, but it follows, you know, their history. It's
Mhm.
interesting as well, but then it really brings back a lot of
A
Yeah.
lot of that
memories.
Saturday Night Fever stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple, 2 different friends that told me about that. They said it was fantastic.
It really is.
So
But-
that's definitely one then we ought to, that's a good recommendation.
Yeah, PBS ran one, Betsy, I think a couple months ahead of that HBO, and to kind of promote that.
Mhm.
And the 2 of those together, just unbelievable.
I'll look on that.
Uh-oh.
Doggy likes it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask if if anyone is familiar with a little book called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
Oh, yeah, I am, but I don't know why.
Well, I had seen it. They interviewed the guy who had written it, and he's also an artist. And I saw it 2 or 3 weeks ago on CBS Sunday Morning. And I went out and I thought, man, that's really cool. So I went out and I ordered 2. And it came and it's like, wow, is this fantastic? So then, but I didn't do it right away. The day that I ordered 2, I thought, maybe if I really like this book, because it isn't very expensive. It was only like $11 or something a piece.
Oh.
I just wanted you guys to know it's a beautiful little book. And
What's the-
it'd be like for anybody.
What's the name again?
It's called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. While Jane Ann's talking to you, I'll hold it up for you. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's a really beautiful little book that you could give to somebody who has kids. And it would be like, it wouldn't be like a kid's book where the kids could read it, but it would be a great book for the parents to read to them.
Oh, okay.
And the art in it is fabulous. I mean, it's just really cool. I'll be back in a minute.
Amazon has it for $14.99.
Yes, yes. The price
Okay.
went up. He ordered it that first day and, it wasn't very expensive. And then the next time he looked, it's like it almost doubled. in price.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
he's making some money then. That's good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's out of stock right now.
Uh-huh.
So
They probably have to
Tommy
make another-
started something.
Yeah.
Make another printing of it. I don't know.
Tom made a run on the book, huh?
Yeah.
Tom's a big sucker for what? Oh, look at this. Okay, well, I'll have to have one.
Yeah.
Any golf fans here? There's a father-son tournament going on this weekend,
Oh, yeah.
and Tiger's playing with his son.
Oh,
Chuck.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
11
then
years
Tiger's
old.
caddy, Joe LaCava, is his son. I don't remember his name, is carrying Tiger's bag or Tiger's son's bag.
Oh, that's,
Got a father-son playing and a father-son caddy, or his caddies be pretty cool. I think it's coming on right now.
yeah, they had the preview or something on this morning and I saw him with his son.
Yeah, gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're recording it, yeah.
And Tiger's golf swing, or his son's golf swing, looks like Tiger when he was 11 years old. I
Oh,
Really?
my
Oh,
God.
my
That's what they were
gosh.
yeah, they were talking about that.
So there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's,
Cool.
the reason it's hard to read is because that printing is all in real shiny gold.
Yeah.
Ah.
But
Look at this, I know.
like that, just the inside cover, and it's like a little song.
Wow.
Ooh,
My
cool.
goodness.
Yeah, it's so it's just, we always recommend stuff. Quite frankly, I haven't read the whole thing yet, but
Are
the
these
author-
guys,
the
are
author's
these guys,
name is
go ahead.
Charlie Mackesy, Mackesy, and I think he's English.
Are they all friends? The mole, the.
Oh
horse,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They all
Kinda like
they all
Charlotte's
take care of
Web.
each other. And by the way, this book, if right now, if you order it, it's a first edition.
No, it's out of,
This one isn't.
well, I know that one isn't, but they were saying.
Oh,
right
it's
now
outside.
of
Yeah,
stock.
yeah. This
So they
book.
probably don't even have any first editions left.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Who knows? Who knows?
So now, how many people here are going to be rooting for Notre Dame today? I noticed Jimmy Hoke, who went to Notre Dame, didn't have any Notre Dame stuff on.
What's going on, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'm the only one. I'm embarrassed.
They just didn't something to pass.
Well, my young
now.
friend that we have up in Quebec, Canada, he said, well, boy, I don't know. He says, I guess it's because it's so Catholic up here, but he says, everybody up in Quebec's for Notre Dame, but he says, I think they're going to get killed. So,
Oh, wait a minute. Clemson scored, I think, Tom.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, they did.
Uh-huh.
Well, Ohio State won, right?
yeah, Ohio State.
Boo.
Hey.
So
Sorry.
Shirley, be happy. Still be happy.
None of us IU fans will be happy.
So
When's IU play again, Bob?
When's that
I
now?
think they're done.
When does IU play again, or do they finish their
Oh,
regular?
they
season?
played Butler today, Tom, in basketball. They
In
beat them
basketball.
about 8. And then tomorrow they find out which bowl game they're going to.
Okay.
The IU Purdue game is canceled,
Twice.
Right.
but it looks like IU will wind up at the Fiesta Bowl
Okay.
in Arizona, and I'm not sure who their opponent will be, TK.
All right.
But they'll make that announcement tomorrow at 6, I believe.
There's
on
another
all the bowl assignments.
on Notre Dame game.
That's right. Thank you, Diane.
it's just starting,
Zero.
isn't it?
Yeah,
0-0.
it's 0-0.
Yeah, I was going to say, how could they have scored already?
I got about 15 minutes.
That was the kickoff.
Okay, if Notre Dame
Yeah, I hate to tell you, Jim, but it's probably delayed out there, and Clemson is up. Let's see, 21-0.
No.
It's early in Hawaii.
Yeah.
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 Want to sell that to your online bookie port?
Well, one last thing before we go, you guys, and we don't have to quit yet, but I wanted to get this in because I want to continue to just give Ron Siders more grief than he can hardly stand.
Yeah, really, I agree.
Okay, so Ron Siders says, and I think he's starting to BS us here.
Yeah, probably.
He says, boy, that email, oh, by the way, he's talking about that email that right after I sent out the reminder, I go out there, why, I don't know, and look at that RHS email thing that I've had forever. And all of a sudden, and I hadn't gotten an email from anybody on that email thing since the summer. And in fact, in the summer, it was 2 from Jay. And lo and behold, the day before he passes away, he sends this email with that thing that I sent to you that he
I'll
had.
be darned.
Yeah.
He says, Tom, that email sounded just like Jay. That must have been the day before he passed.
Yeah.
For your information, I got a camera and microphone hooked up to my computer. Last week, I tried to connect with you guys on Zoom, but with no luck. I say that's bull, Ron.
Yeah, we second that too.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah, well, I think that's the second or third time we've heard that now, Ron. I must be doing something wrong and not connecting
No
correctly.
kidding.
You guys did a great job talking about Houston. I'm sure you will do the same for Jay. I hope we did. I will try again tomorrow to link up with all of you. Obviously, you didn't try hard enough. If not, I may be able to catch the YouTube later. Don't give me that maybe. I mean, if I don't get that thing out on Monday, he's asking me where the hell is it?
This guy on tonight.
We're gonna whip your butt.
So he says, I was supposed to work the Florida basketball game tomorrow afternoon, Not sure where that is at this time. We had a player that went down last week with an unknown cause. They think that maybe it might have been a heart attack. I don't know if you guys saw that on the news.
Oh, yeah, that was,
And
yeah.
they're wondering if it had been the
COVID.
after effects of COVID, because I think that particular player had COVID.
They put him in an induced coma and everything.
Yeah.
And, but now
Did
he's,
they really?
he's doing better now.
Might have been on TV earlier
Shay
today.
person.
And then he closes it out. He says, "Thanks for everything. Tell everybody to stay safe and healthy." Ron Sider.
Okay.
So anyway, there you go.
Get a 6 or 7-year-old and teach them how to do that.
Yeah.
If I have
right.
time next week, I'm going to call Ron Siders because I've got his phone number now. And I'm going to walk him through how to do Zoom.
Okay.
And let's just see if we can't get him on there. What?
Nancy wants to talk.
Oh, Nancy.
Hey, I just remembered, I need to tell y'all, I talked to Woody Cole the other day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he's listening, he's watching all the YouTubes and he knows everything going on. I said, well, why don't you join? He said, oh, well, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And I have no Wi-Fi. So one of these days, hopefully he'll get on. But he said that he really is enjoying all the YouTubes every week. Perfect.
Hi, Woody.
And yeah, hi, Woody. And he said, what, a couple of weeks ago, you weren't even there, Nancy. I mean, that's how close he's watching.
Wow.
Hi, Woody. Hi, Woody.
Yeah.
He's good. He's still in Kentucky.
Okay. And I did hear this week from Donna Fitzharris. I often do. She just said she was sorry to hear about Jay. And then Steve Van Zandt. I know you're watching this.
Wow.
He says, Tom, just a personal thanks. I wanted to let you know I watched some of the Zoom calls, even though I'm not a Zoom guy, and I enjoy all the other information you send as well. Merry Christmas and good health to you, your family, and all of our classmates.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, so I get emails like this, so I know that folks are out there watching this. So guys, we got to keep doing this to keep all the rest of our classmates entertained.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I agree.
We got to stay alive.
Get on here once in a while. Shoot.
Tom, for all the IU people, I was invited by Coach Tom Allen to a Zoom call Monday night of former IU players and people that were affiliated with the program. They had to start limiting it to 300.
Whoa.
So I had to get my reservation in as one of the first 300, and I made it.
Okay.
But he'll go on probably for an hour and a half about anything we want to talk about at all, and I'll try to update everybody next week.
Yeah, that's great.
That'd be great.
Go Hoosiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it, Harv. Do it, man.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's really neat. Yeah, it's a fabulous thing that he does that with all the guys and gals.
That'd be cool. That'll be cool.
And
Well-
he was Big Ten Coach of the Year. I don't know if all of you got
Yep.
that
Oh, my
information.
Yeah.
And it's one of probably the 4 or 5 leading candidates for for National Coach of the Year. So that'll be announced next week. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So TP, we're meeting again
That's all.
next week at the 24th,
6.
26th.
26, day after.
That's the day
Yeah.
after. Hey,
If you can still stand up after eating.
Yeah.
I think that on the 26th, everybody should be prepared to show everybody else at least one present that they got.
Okay.
What the heck?
Okay.
Bob, are you waiting because you want to say something, or are you leaving us?
No. IU signed 14 freshmen for next year. And they got 2 of the leading wide receivers out of Florida, out of the state of Florida.
Oh my.
Really?
And a very good quarterback prospect. Yeah. So they're good.
Cool.
And I will be here next week.
Okay.
You will.
You will be,
Will
or
be.
you will be.
Yeah, no shit, I'm kidding.
And you guys, guess what? By Tuesday, we're going to start getting more light again. Monday.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Oh, that's right, yeah. it's starting-
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. It'll start flipping back to
Yes.
getting longer. and
At
longer.
least in the afternoon, at least in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Notre Dame just kicked a field goal.
Who did?
They did?
Who
Yeah.
did?
Notre Dame.
Notre
Oh.
Dame.
All right. So Jimmy, do you have, since you're out there, you could probably, Jamie and Katie, Katie's bragging about how hot it is. So you want to tell her what it's like out there in Hawaii?
Oh, yeah.
It's breezy and nice.
I know, they have a great temperature
I'll
out
take
there.
that.
What's your
Pretty
temperature?
much
Jim?
year round, isn't it?
Yeah. What's your temperature?
Who, me?
Yeah. What's the temperature?
80.
Probably in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's early.
Let's see. Yeah, it's only like 11 o'clock there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got
Okay.
wind. The winters here are really nice. I mean, you get a lot of wind and a little rain. And it's not as hot as the summer.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
hungry?
Okay.
those of us out here in the Midwest in Indiana, we'll take your word for it. So, all right, you guys.
Thanks, you guys. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hey, Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas,
everybody.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Be safe.
Stay safe is right.
Yeah.
Stay-
Have a
Bye-bye.
good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, bye-bye.
I don't know why Diane we didn't get Diane's picture, but I guess I'm going to
You
say.
know, I don't know what to do to make it come in. I don't know. I got to talk to my grandchildren.
Yeah,
Okay.
get some tutoring.
Yes.
We knew you were there. I did because I think I only said one cuss word and the whole time I was
Yeah.
trying to think, now, don't cuss. She's on
Well,
there.
Judy said the major cuss word.
Oh, yeah. Well, Diane, have a nice Christmas.
Yeah, hope you have a great
Thank you.
Christmas, Diane.
And you too.
Righty, bye-bye.
Everybody else. Bye-bye.
Hey, and Jim, on that voicemail you left, the year that I got that, it was actually strep throat. But I know all about histoplasmosis from Jane Ann. That Jane Ann has it, and she has all those scarrings on her lungs
And
Yeah.
my eyes.
and on her eyes.
Oh, I didn't have that. I had the scarring on the lungs, but not the eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would have gotten that. Now she got it from being in a barn, in barns with horses. It's from bird
Remember
dropping.
we used to have a big old maple tree out in front of the house.
Yeah.
The birds. Yeah, and their droppings, you'd walk out of the house and it'd be stinky, from,
Okay.
That had to be it. Yeah.
That was it then.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got strep throat. I thought you had something else.
Well, yeah, I think, of course, they didn't know for probably a week what I had, but then they finally diagnosed it as strep. But boy, that sure did take it out of me. Boy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wicked.
But
Yeah.
I told you the story of how I got diagnosed with that, didn't I?
No.
When I was working for Boeing, all managers got x-rays every year. And so they got a lung x-ray and or chest x-ray. So I got a routine chest x-ray. And then we get a call from whoever was examining them saying, hey, you need to come in and we need to talk to you about the results of your chest x-ray.
Ooh, that had to be scary.
Oh, geez, man, I remember we went to, I think, Virginia Mason Hospital in downtown Seattle, both Carol and I, because we thought, oh, geez.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, it seemed like forever. And then they called us in, and then the doctor looked at, he got the chest x-ray up on the viewer, showed us all these little white spots. And he said, well, that's calcification. It's not tumors. It's calcification from some infection that you had at some point. And then he started asking me, okay, so where were you living? Where did you live, or where were you born and raised? And I said, well, Eastern Indiana. And then he says, is that in the Ohio Valley, Miami Valley? And I said, yeah. And he says, oh, okay, well, that sort of confirms it. And then he went to the diagnosis of histoplasmosis.
Yeah.
That it was from bird droppings, probably.
Yep.
And, you know, I did not get as serious as obviously Jane Ann had.
Oh, no, she got it really bad. And they couldn't figure out what was wrong with her for a long time.
Yeah, it can be chronic. It can be, does she still affect, does it still affect her?
Well, I mean, she has all of these terrible respiratory allergies, and then she has asthma. And of course, she made the big mistake of, while she was in college and on, I don't know for how many years, she was a heavy smoker.
Oh, man.
So, but, so then on top of it, she's got histo. Well, hi, Carol.
Hello, Tommy.
Yeah, get over here, Jane Ann. Say hi to Diane Mansfield, even though we can't see her.
Yeah, I'm
Hi,
here.
Carol.
Are you there?
Ann.
Hey, I like your hair.
Yeah.
It's the COVID Hawaiian look.
Okay, well, I like it. Well, look at this. Look at
Yeah,
that,
like
how
a
long
curl.
my
I
hair is.
like a curl.
Yeah, you're turning into a hippie, man.
You look like,
If I go for, let's see, at the end of February, it'll be a year.
Oh, wow.
I had
I've
mine
had-
cut. Thank heaven.
I've had 2 haircuts since about a year ago. Yeah.
I'll just wait until I get vaccinated.
Yeah, really. It's okay. Nobody cares. You look
Yeah.
great. Y'all look great.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you got on.
Yeah, good to see you.
And we're so happy you guys are there. We're happy
Yes.
for you.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Every
Yeah.
day is like, wow, this is working out.
Yeah. And think about all these years you were planning to do it.
Yeah.
And you
I've been
finally
forever.
did it.
About 10 years we've been talking about this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, we're really, really happy and excited for you, really. So send some pictures.
Yeah, we will,
Yeah, we
for
will.
sure.
put this on your travel schedule.
Okay, well, listen, we're gonna let you go so we can watch Notre Dame
Yeah,
win.
okay.
Oh, is that an interception?
Well, I hope so.
We just got an interception?
Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye. Take
Okay,
care.
see ya. See you, Jim.
Hi,
See you,
Diane.
Bye.
Okay, we're glad you got on. And Diane, if you can't figure that out, seriously, send me a message.
Okay,
And
okay.
and then you and I maybe can get on a phone call and then we can practice and maybe we can figure it out together.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
You got my phone number, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. All right. And if I don't talk to you, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.